stay earthbound when prosperity awaits you in the stars? Come to Halcyon, the only colony on the edge of the frontier, owned and operated by corporations. A trip of 10 short years will feel like mere minutes, thanks to the comfort and safety of your very own hibernation chamber. You'll wake up in a perfect society designed to maximize your productivity with guaranteed full employment. With only a minor term of service, you will become the master of your own destiny when you go out of this world to the Halcyon. Why stay earthbound when prosperity awaits you in the stars? Come to Halcyon, the only colony on the edge of the frontier, owned and operated by corporations. A trip of 10 short years will feel like mere minutes, thanks to the comfort and safety of your very own hibernation chamber. You'll wake up in a perfect society designed to maximize your productivity with guaranteed full employment. With only a minor term of service, you will become the master of your own destiny when you go out of this world to the Halcyon colony.
Hundreds of thousands of colonists left adrift out here forever, just to keep from damaging the board's bottom line. Disgraceful.
This one could twist a marauder's head off. Excellent cellular integrity, not likely to liquefy. You wrote that paper on breeding a cystipig with 30% more tumors. A crack shot. Capital. Well, you are technically assisting me.
Looks to be your lucky day, my friend.
Please power down your engines and prepare to be...
Not likely, bootlickers. Initiate skip jump.
Status. Structural integrity down 25%. Power levels down 11%. Skip drive.
Shit.
Inoperable.
Ah, there you are. Wondering what's going on, eh? Bit of bad news there, I'm afraid. Your colony ship was inexplicably knocked out of skip space and forced to complete its journey at sublight speeds. This means that you and every other colonist on the Hope have been in suspended animation for 70 years, give or take. Normally, reviving someone after so long leads to some quite horrifying results. It's called explosive cell death, but it's really more of a liquefaction. Something wrong? Oh, yes, well, not to worry. I've pumped your body full of a special concoction I devised to keep you from dying so horrifically. Hopefully at all, but I guess we'll see, yes? Unfortunately, I used the last of my chemical supplies saving you. I know it's a lot to ask, but I must have your help securing more if we're to save the rest of your fellow colonists. I'd see it done myself, of course, but the board has a sizable bounty on my head. Now, my ship is inoperative, but I've managed to hire a smuggler to help you out. He'll be... Oh, I see we're in position. Good luck! Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Ah, there you are. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, the smuggler. His name is Hawthorne, and he should be waiting for you at the landing site. He's to be your chauffeur, so to speak. Not to worry. I'm told he's a specialist. Dashing gunslinger, one-of-a-kind ship, that sort of thing. You'll like him, I'm sure. I've also outfitted you with a simple wireless monitor, so I can track your progress. I'll check in with you as soon as you land. Good luck. All the colonists are counting on you.
Good. Hawthorne should be close by. What in law's name? Is that him? Oh, that idiot. I told him to plant the beacon and move away, not stand there holding it. Oh well, no sense in letting his ship go to waste. Hawthorne won't mind you taking his ship. Better you than the board, huh? Not sure I trusted the fellow. Might have gone after the bounty on my head. Shame about the whole squashing thing. Nasty way to go. frozen for a while. There's bound to be unforeseen side effects.
Hey, you, come here. You've tried the best now. Now try the rest. Spacer's choice. Oh, law, that stings. We were out on patrol. I saw a marauder camp up in the hills. Thought I could take him. Then my gun misfired. Right through my side. I mean, what are the odds of that, right? Just barely scraped by with my life. Crawled in here and blocked off the exit with those canisters. Gibbering, flesh-eating, law-breaking, unemployed lunatics with guns. Some hull had grounded their spacecraft out in the open. That's a real good way to attract marauders. See those canisters by the entrance? Marauders come sniffing around in here, and I can take them all out with a single shot. Not bad, huh? Yeah, okay. You look like you know your way around a gun. Got some spare ammo, not counting the bullet in my side. All Spacer's choice weapons are now 30% less likely to malfunction. You've tried the best, now try the rest. Spacer's choice. Yes, nailed it that time. You hit your head or something? You're in Emerald Vale. We're a Spacer's choice community. Edgewater's a little ways down. Prettiest place in the Vale. Be sure to stop by a provisioner's for a can of our famous salt tuna. The Hope? Is that some sort of fancy new drug? Are you with Auntie Cleo or something? Don't take this the wrong way or nothing, but I'm not allowed to fraternize with Cleo workers. Company policy.
My ears! Oh, what just happened? Can you hear me? What in the hell? This...
Hey! Get over here before you get yourself killed! Don't know where you came from, stranger, but you best keep your head down. There's marauders hereabouts, and worse, landing violators. Gall on that rung leech! Landing in the Vale without using an official Spacer's Choice landing pad. I'd slap him with a fine if it weren't for all these marauders shambling about. You pulling my limb? I mean, yeah, of course. Marauders. Bunch of addle-brained derelicts. I could round them up all by myself. I just, need a couple of winks to catch my breath. Stretch my legs some. Well, sometimes. Management's real good at cost-benefit analysis. But, seeing as I'm the acting manager in this situation, you know what? You're right. It's time we cross those marauders off, find whoever owns that ship, and file a full report. Then it's gonna be fucking laminated.
Here we go.
Earned a fine bonus.
I just earned a fine bonus.
Please be informed that this vessel contains no valuable plunder. Marauder, please be informed that ignoring me is dangerous for your health. Unauthorized access of spacefaring vessels is a crime. Please. Hello, Marauder. I am Ada, the autonomous digital astrogator of this vessel. Please be informed that I am authorized to use violent retribution against unwanted solicitors. Please return any misappropriated equipment and exit this vessel in an orderly fashion. Failure to do so will result in your immediate destruction. Gesture procedures initiated. Please engage in airlocks. Preparing to eject all boarding parties in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are still here. My deception protocols have failed. I have been programmed to express disappointment. This vessel is the registered property of Captain Alex Hawthorne. I am incapable of accepting orders from anyone other than Captain Alex Hawthorne. I understand. I will require some time to process this information. Thank you for your patience and for your honesty. I am programmed to take orders exclusively from Captain Hawthorne. If I accept your orders, then you must be Captain Hawthorne. Do you understand? Well done, Captain Hawthorne. I see your powers of deductive reasoning remain intact. Unfortunately, our engine is currently inoperable. Our main drive suffered a critical power failure, and we were forced to make an emergency landing. The main drive's power regulator has been irreparably damaged and must be replaced. Astutely observed. However, the probability of locating a power regulator within a worker settlement falls within acceptable parameters of certainty. High-capacity power regulators are sometimes employed in the electrical networks of worker settlements. I have taken the liberty of printing you a new Captain's Identity cartridge. Please try not to lose it this time. This cartridge identifies you, Alex Hawthorne, as the registered proprietor and captain of the Unreliable. Do you understand? Best of luck in your search for a power regulator. Try to stay alive this time. These surveillance devices allow me to monitor you constantly. Please ignore them. The ship's engines cannot be powered until a replacement regulator has been properly installed. If your equipment is in need of repair or modification, the Crux 2000 workbench is at your disposal, Captain.
Say, this wouldn't happen to be your ship, would it? Because you sure walked in it like it was your ship. And if this ship is yours, well, mister, you owe Spacer's Choice a hefty fine. Afraid we gotta dock your pay. I'll waive your fee since you helped us with those marauders. If you're looking for work, talk to the constable down in Edgewater. She's got a bounty on marauders. Edgewater's not too far. Just follow the road east of here, over past the cemetery. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to inspect the crime scene before I make my report.
Whoa, hey, where'd you come from? Don't go ambling out in those hills. That's Marauder territory, friend. Your pod? What are you on about? You take a bruise to the cranium? Ain't safe out here. You'd best head into town. Avail yourself of Edgewater's high walls. And low prices. I'm being vigilant. Don't want to get blindsided by some corpse-chewing marauder come stalking out the shadows. Oh, worse. Unemployed cannibals. You ever seen a marauder hold down a job? Or put a stake into society? Well, if you're gonna go headhunting, talk to Constable Reyes back in town. She pays for marauders by the finger. Pleased to make your acquaintanceship. I'd shake your hand, but I've been hauling corpses. You don't want none of that on you. Name's Silas. Junior in humor for the town of Edgewater. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family. Definitely not the junior in humor, that's for sure. If you've got business inquiries, you should stop by Reed Thompson's office. He's up in the tower above the cannery. Head into town, follow the road. Look, you obviously ain't a worker. What's your racket? You a smuggler? Freelancer? Got a knack for being discreet-like? There's money to be made, long as you keep your nose clean. Edgewater is a company town, board-owned and operated. That includes the cemetery. None of us own our grave sites, we rent them from the company. Renting means money. Money means paperwork. Paperwork means signatures. Some of our families become a mite delinquent in paying their dues, you see? Company policy. If it was up to me, I'd put the whole town 10 feet under, free of charge. 4 workers still haven't paid up. Phyllis, Conrad, Ludwig, and Martin Abernathy. He's a special case. You may want to twist his arm a little. He just is. Look, I don't want to get into it. Just make sure he pays up. Conrad's got a barbershop in town. Phyllis works at the cannery most hours. Abernathy... I ain't seen him in a few days. His domicile is near the cannery. You'll find him in town. All except Ludwig, that is. He's over by the landing pad. Yeah? The colony ship? Are you talking about that old rumor? Some great big starship packed full of colonists what got lost in the aether never to be found again? Ain't heard that one since I was but a stripling. Can't say it was terribly convincing far as rumors go. Is there a reason you asking? All right, easy now. No need to get your hackles up. Maybe you've been out in the sun too long. Why don't you head over to the cantina? Get yourself some zero-G brew. It's a brew that's good for what ails you. No, this is sounding like sedition. I'm not too keen on getting clapped in irons because you wouldn't stop running your mouth. Look, I don't know what's got you caterwauling about hope this and colony that, but you need to stop, or there's gonna be trouble. Trouble's in the asking. Board don't much care for folk running their mouths, spreading hoaxes and the like. Frankly, neither do I. Something I can do for you? You run into any trouble?
Beats working at the camp.
They start asking you for some medicine, come tell me. I'll set them straight.
Please don't touch anything. Your hands are probably crawling with germs. Physical hygiene recapitulates moral hygiene. Cleanliness is next to lawfulness. No, thank you. That's quite all right. I've seen enough body parts in my line of work. I'm Conrad. You will report to me if your hair fails to meet Spacer's Choice aesthetic standards. You will also report to me in the event of your death, whereupon I will clean and prepare your remains for interment. Ah, gravesite fees. Silas and I had talked about this at length. I thought I'd made it clear my pecuniary situation precludes the necessary restitutions. As broke as pie crust, friend. Bidless, indigent, destitute. I simply cannot afford it. I am a blemish on the prosperity of our fair settlement. When I expire, I expect Silas to toss my body into a ditch. Thank you, no. I despise the cereals. Tell Silas I can't afford to pay, and that I fully expect to have my medical rights revoked for this dereliction. With my apologies. Some time ago, I fell ill with the plague. By the grace of the law, and through my own hard work, I'd proven worthy of treatment. Frankly, I don't imagine I'll earn that right a second time. The barber work hasn't been profitable, you see. I've had to keep this old place running with my own savings. Not a bad idea. But I'd need some kind of collateral. My pair of lucky clippers! No, that won't do. Your idea intrigues me, but I'm afraid I don't have anything to give Silas. I'm open to suggestions. Much obliged. You're trying to get us all... What do you think you're doing? I don't have time for this. What can I do for you? You know about Eugene? How? You were probably poking around my things. I really shouldn't leave my letters sitting out in the open. Eugene's golden teeth were a family heirloom, representing 3 generations of poor dental hygiene. He took them to his grave. More than a few. Those teeth were his personal savings. I can't ask Silas to dig up a man's body and pry a few teeth loose from his jaw just to pay my bills. Can I? Here you are. Gravesite papers affixed with my signature and an IOU.
report?
Only the part that said we ain't making our
Sorry,
quotas.
I got a lot to do.
If only McDevitt's folk hadn't abandoned us. Cannery could use those extra hands.
Nothing we can do about that.
Huh?
Sure there is. We can have another zero G.
I don't know you. Uh-huh. The Unreliable, you say? Never heard of any company supply ship with that particular name. I don't know what you're about, but this here's a Spacer's Choice drinking establishment. We're all loyal, hard-working company folk here. You really think so? That's kind of you. I've been trying to keep the floors clean. You got no idea how long it takes to scrub the tiles. Guess I misreckoned you. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to be curt. We just got some problems lately. I can get you a drink if you'd like. Gotta ask you to enjoy your beverage within the premises, though. Can't risk you bringing a drink over to those deserters. You understand. Traitors. The lot of them. Bunch of folks decided they were tired of working and went out into the wilds to fend for their own selves. Town's already struggling to make quotas, even without that band of slackwits abandoning their posts. Bunch of lazy, shiftless rung leeches. Anyway, enough about them. What can I do for you? Do you now? And what makes you think Mr. Thompson wants to talk to you? He's a busy man. You want to talk to Mr. Thompson, try ignoring your duties. He'll summon you up to that great big tower atop the cannery, and you'll get yourself a proper dressing down. It is a good thing. If you're not pulling your weight, you don't deserve to live here. Simple as that. Coming right up.
Another day at the cannery.
It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's Choice. And before you ask, I'm all out of deluxe salt tuna. All I've got is gourmet. You ought to go have a talk with the boss, Reed Thompson. He's up in his tower above the cannery. Go right ahead. Other than yourself? Definitely the vicar. Don't get me wrong. He seems a decent man, cut from church cloth, knows his scriptures. But there's something about him that bothers me. Like he's not one of us. Sometimes I suspect he doesn't even want to be here. I'd keep a few paces between myself and Miss Holcomb, the town mechanic, since her dear father left the workforce. No ill intent in her, mind. Just a queer sort, restless, scatterbrained, inclined to do first and think after, if you take my meaning. Amelia. Definitely Amelia Kim. I advise against stepping foot in her drinking establishment altogether. Word is, they're gonna replace her with an auto-mechanical barkeep. She's... what's the word? Obsolete. You don't want to associate yourself with that kind of person. What, you mean Edgewater? That's a peculiar question. This a test? Am I being tested right now? It's, fine and dandy. Couldn't be happier. Wouldn't want to spend my life working anywhere else. Prettiest little town on Terra 2. I have every reason to be. I caught a real break working in a place like this. I don't get paid for banter. Was there something you needed? Go right ahead.
Talking to the good vicar always lifts up my spirits.
Hey there, Mary. Don't see you round here too often.
Oh, I just came to talk to the vicar is all. None of us are above confessionals.
What have you got to confess? You ain't thinking of dessert.
Talking to the good vicar always lifts up my spirits.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max, if you're the sort who prefers brevity. I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling? This season's tossball predictions? The quickest way out of town? Not to put too fine a point on it, but your choice of wardrobe is not precisely common hereabouts. Also, you lack the distinctive worker gaze. Usually either a deadening behind the eyes, or in some rare cases, a wild-eyed frenzy, like a trapped animal. Oh, nothing could be further from the truth. I'm simply bemoaning the level of spiritual awareness in this town. Yes, but there are few who hear me in this miserable place. I must double my efforts to elevate my flock. These are good, hard-working people here. Yes, and thank you for pointing it out. It is wrong of me to succumb to distress. This place could be so much more, and I will continue in my quest to make it so. Mechanical tomfoolery is well out of my purview. I suggest you take such matters to Mr. Thompson in the cannery. Oh, and a word of warning. If you're considering wandering around outside the safety of the town, you'd best be cautious. Marauders are about. Though if you are planning on venturing outside, I do have a proposition that may interest you. One of the reasons I transferred here was to fulfill my duty in hunting down banned heretical texts. I happen to know such a book is, as we speak, tainting a collector's library in Emerald Vale. However, the collector's residence lies outside the town's walls. My retrieval efforts have been thwarted by marauders who have overrun the property. Should you fare better than me, I'd pay a handsome sum for the book. I just want to keep the writing out of layman's hands. It wouldn't do for such information to fall into public consumption. I can assure you, you won't find another willing to risk imprisonment to possess this book, nor anyone willing to pay the price I can offer. On the contrary, my position means that I am one of the few legally allowed to possess such items. But do not worry. You'll be safe since you are acting on my behalf. Glad we see eye to eye. It's a handwritten journal, a faded blue cover with the name M. Bakonu handwritten in the lower corner. I'll mark where I saw it on your map. Assuming you're serious? It is not only a beautiful relic of a bygone time, it's also the thoughts of an early thinker on the nature of man's place in the cosmos. Not many in this colony could understand its true value, should they ever read it. Thank you. If you retrieve it, you can always find me here.
sorry. I'll just be a minute.
You had a minute. Next one comes out of your head. Some wholeheads running around town talking about lost quality shit. Got my sights on you.
You the new worker? Whatever. Make it quick, Tenderfoot. I'm busy. Shit. Silas still on about that. Here, take the fees. I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell Reed I was late on my payment. Because they're not my fees and not my gravesite. Guy I worked with shot himself. I paid the bill. I could do without the sarcasm. Wasn't acting out of the goodness of my heart. Law requires delinquent gravesite fees to be paid by the deceased party's closest living relative, which meant me. Shame, though. Eugene was a good worker. Woke up one morning and put a round through his upper story. Can't imagine why. The kid was doing all right at his desk. We all thought he was an upstanding receptionist. Just between the two of us, I'm pretty shocked his weapon didn't misfire. Spacer's Choice handguns aren't the most reliable. Not half as awful as the bill Eugene left us with. Suicide's a crime. The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism. I'm plenty serious. In fact, I'm a little upset Eugene didn't think things through. In other words, Edgewater would have been penalized pretty hard. Whatever Eugene was worth as an asset, we would have had to pay out of pocket to Spacer's Choice. Well, excuse you. I'll have you know, Eugene was an asset to us all. May his atoms be commended to the law. All I know is Silas asked me for Eugene's gravesite fees, which means he was approved for burial, which means his papers went through, which means the town's in the clear. I'm just glad to put this whole ugly affair behind me. Eugene can rest his bones in peace, and the rest of us can get on with our own lives. Somebody's been spinning a tale about a lost colony ship. Talk like that'll get you reported real quick. Foreman Granger, mind those words don't come out of your mouth unless preceded by yes or right away or thank you. I paid his burial fees, didn't I? Let the dead sleep. Didn't anyone ever tell you not to go rifling through other people's correspondence? Excuse you. Eugene's body and all rare earth minerals contained therein already belong to Spacer's Choice. And we're all part of the Spacer's Choice family here. Never mind. I don't have to explain myself to you.
Miss Holcomb, I'm splendidly
The grease monkey, Argo?
I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, sir.
Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself. You were saying, Miss Holcomb.
It's just what Bess needs is a proper refurbish. I can bandage her up and what all, but she's just old. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll do better.
And I do wish you'd stop referring to our cannery as Bess. Personification of company property is strictly contrary to the Spacer's Choice Code of Conduct. My apologies. I am not in the habit of allowing my guests to witness such a row. Now, what can I do for you? I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I must say, wearing a Marauder's outfit is in very poor taste. I do wish you'd show your uniform a little more respect. Yes, so it dawns on me. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through.
Only regulator we got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process. Oh, yes. Saw someone put his hands on a regulator while the power was running. His legs were still twitching when we buried him. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way. I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there. No, I do not imagine they will be pleased. But like a parent disciplining an unruly child, you will be doing them a kindness. The people living in the botanical labs, they're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home. Good law, no, I don't want you killing anyone, least of all them. My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town. Adelaide's older than the other deserters. She's dignified, kindly. From what I understand, her camp looks to her for leadership. That is not a hypothetical I enjoy entertaining. We need Adelaide back. Nonetheless, I will settle for the return of her followers. We belong to one community, the Spacer's Choice family. If we dissolve into factions, then we will all perish separately. Adelaide will understand that.
My dad told me all about the plant. Taught me all he knew. I could come in useful. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you. You will need an administrative passcode in order to enter the plant. I am trusting you with mine, and trusting Miss Holcomb to guide you if you'd like.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help. It is a lot to ask of a stranger, I know.
Gotcha. Hey, mister, can we talk? Sorry. You got a minute? Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to It's just... Mr. Thompson has his own view on matters, on account of its... Oh, he ain't a liar. He believes it. It's just... He doesn't always get... To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. Miss McDevitt? Oh, gosh, no. She was a real important person. A flavorist. Made all the food taste decent. She used to work up in the big office. Alls I know is she left after her son died. It was a real big to-do. I could hear... Can't say as I know. I wasn't there. The sound carried, but not the... If Mr. Thompson ain't of a mind to tell you his own self, you'd best ask Miss McDevitt. I don't know anybody well. I mostly listen to them talk. There was a boy named Thomas who used to follow me around, asking questions about the stuff I fixed. He was real... Life's hard here. Especially for them that don't fit in so well. We're one big Spacer's Choice family, but Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is. Books are for rich folk. I wonder... Thanks, mister. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, that's what my dad used.
Hey, you hear about Wilson?
Heard the robbers.
This is where the magic happens. Well, science. But hey, that's... I mean, if you need it. Okay.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing.
Yes, Mr. Thompson. I'm fine, Mr. Whoa, did Mr. Thompson send you? Well, you tell Mr. Thompson I'll be right at my post. Tomorrow. Bright and early tomorrow. Because You some sort of wandering alienist? Walking into a man's own domicile, pestering him about his mental state? What? No. Silas knows, doesn't he? That's why he sent you. I'm dying. I'm not long for this world. The date of my expiration is fast approaching. And
Don't say that, Mr. Abernathy.
I'd steer clear, Ms. Holcomb. My affliction's bound to be contagious. It's plague. Has to be. Silas knows. He knows I got one. I'll pay your fees. I don't want any trouble from Silas. But if you... There's a cache of anthracillin tucked away in the old community center. Powerful stuff. Stronger than what we got, anyway. I need you to... You oblige me with your haste. I think I feel the... Just keep your head down when you're in there. Marauders have taken over. I know that, but I got nobody else. Reed would have wrote me up. Constable would have locked me up and wrote me up. Could have gone to see...
You're making a mistake working for Abernathy. Excuse me. I'm Esther Blaine, Spacer's Choice Actuary. I overheard your talk with Abernathy. Abernathy is a well-known hypochondriac. Anthracillin is wasted on him. You're better off selling it. All I'm saying is Abernathy's worked in this town longer than some of us been alive. How do I put this gently? He's a... I probably shouldn't tell you. Don't want you implicated for what I'm trying to do. All right, here's a summary. A lot of sick people in this town, and we don't have the medicine to treat them all. I'm paid better than Abernathy. Whatever he's giving you, that's all I can ask of you.
Something got you down?
Nothing.
I've always felt weird in here. It's too clean.
Any progress on that? Ah, Miss Holcomb. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger.
This here's Vicar DeSoto. He's...
Thank you for the kind assessment, Miss Holcomb. I admit. Please. What would you like to...
What? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my... Depriving them of safety from the marauders and wild... I can see why that... Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edge... If it were as easy as a few soothing words in the right ears, I'm sure... They who are not satisfied with their work are satisfied with nothing. Selling? No. It is free for all who seek it. I'm sorry you don't... The OSI teaches that the Grand Architect set a perfect system in motion at the beginning of time. Contentment is... The Order of Scientific Inquiry, also known as scientism to the layperson. You don't talk to the Grand Architect. Once we will eventually decode the plan and all its... the future, the past, each person's place within the... Some even believe this Well, first there's the matter of the secret blood rights in animals. Seriously, though, to truly understand the metaphysics involved...
When I was little, we'd get freighters in every Sunday noon. Now they only come but once a month. I love the wind.
Thank the law. You ever swung a truncheon? The war! The coming... I'm talking about mechanical soldier. That's right. That's what I've been... Auto-mechanicals. Creatures. When the swarms of mechanicals come clanging on over that hill... I told Silas I'd pay my dues if he agreed to join the resistance. Mechanical repellent! A stroke of inspiration. I've been gathering up a war chest over the years. So tuna cans, mostly, some Spacer's chaw, a few bit cards. I'll reward you for your aid. Enlistment fees? Yeah, I suppose. Wouldn't want to give the Resistance a bad name. They have sent a scout, prowling around the jungle. This scout must not be permitted to return to its base. Mechanical's got a weak spot in their midsections. Go on. You ever seen the way a mechanical just stands there? Pray to the law that you never do. First they will rob us of our jobs.
Hey, Miss... Lovely to see you about, Miss Parvati.
Things going all right?
Been keeping him careful and true, miss. Best to ask her...
My dad's buried here. Silas... Oh.
Something... Yeah? Well, yeah. Yeah. Fun. The night we were supposed to commend his body to the earth, I had his grave all... When I woke up, his body was gone. Spirited away. Let me know if you find... Yeah? Former people, yeah. Flesh-gnawing marrows. If those marauders swipe any more body... Fancy threads. That's... You run into any... Reliable work from a freelancer. And I'll buy you a drink sometime. Suppose you've earned... Abernathy was sick? With the plague? That's disgusting. What? No. I needed his fees because of his name. A, for Abernathy. He was at the top of my list.
I used to skip rocks in the river till Constable Reyes ticketed me for unlicensed terraforming. I think she was jealous. She don't know how to skip rocks her own self.
Grave digging's a
Here they come! Sorry, won't work! Who did it? Got it. Heads down. Let's go! Didn't work! We made it! Everyone all right? Nice work!
I smell blood.
Here they come! I'm off. Easy.
Move along, stranger. We don't want any trouble. I don't know you. Whatever you're looking for, it ain't... Answers, huh? You must be one of those philosophicals. A geo what? Look, plants ain't my purview. You're bitter if you're gonna start wandering around my camp. Over in the hothouse. Enough with the questions. No offense, but I've... You don't know what enough... No, I'm sorry. That was unworthy of me. Lady named Zoe went missing. It's not like Zoe to go wandering. Figured... Can't imagine where she's gone. Vale's a wide place. She could be any... I'll tell you what. Vex me. If she told anybody that... Could be. Dangers aplenty out there. Well, enough to know we never got on. Zoe and Stefan were close. She was lazy and thoughtless, but she's still one of our... What is it?
Keep your wits about you, friend. If you're hungry, Stefan's got supplies.
If you're hungry, there's meat turning on the spit outside. If you're bearing illness, find a place to lay your head down, and whatever your troubles with Edgewater, leave them at the gate. I have been called that, among other things. Green Thumb, grandmother, the strange old lady who keeps flowers. But yes,
Excuse me, Miss McDevitt? Sorry, it's just...
Why, thank you. You're Robert's girl, aren't you? I remember when... Are you staying long? You should try some of my tobaccorn tea. I brew it in an old spittoon, but it's been cleaned. Reed Thompson, you here on behalf of that cold eye. Let's hear it. Like everything else that comes out of Edgewater, that peace offering is canned. He would do such a thing. Cannery's got a regulator. You want ship part... If you're going down to the plant, you should divert power away from Edgewater. Think about it. You'd be liberating an entire town from a lifetime of service to that. You've seen that miserable excuse for a town with your own lamps. Hollowed out workers laboring their lives away at the cannery, living off whatever scrap Spacer's choice throws them. You know that's true, don't you, Ms. Holcomb? Your father died of
He was tired all the time, sure, but...
Look what they did to this child. Lost her... Life in Edgewater grinds to a halt. The cannery shuts down. Workers desert in droves. You bring power to Reed's town and you'll be killing us. I trust you will...
Fancy duds. Do the tubes get in your way? You mean Zoe? Yeah. Zoe and I were gonna watch the serials, as is our custom. You sound like some type of corporate fixer. Zoe was always obsessed with this serial. Masked Marketeer. A scion of Bazan. Shame she up and vanished. The other day, I got my hands on a genuine copy of the latest Masked Marketeer. Can't say I recall Zoe ever acting strange. She called it journal. Hey. I'll...
Keep your wits about you, friend.
Oh, that's Thomas. He used to follow me around before he left the cannery.
If you're hungry, Stefan's got supplies.
Oh, didn't see you there. Whoa, Miss Parvati.
Are you...
Great, just great. I've been trying to keep stuff running, just like you. Only...
Oh gosh, no,
Are you from town? Well, what I meant... Sorry, I just wasn't sure if you were from town or if you were one of us. Fact is, I've been, well, lying. To everybody here. Can't... I'll take all the help I can get. I set my mind to learning the craft of the engine. You ever heard of the Young Spacer's Guide to Mechanical Engineering? Comes in a set of 3. If I had my hands on one of...
Those are good. My dad...
I know the old community center kept a copy. Should find another one back in town. No kidding! Really? Look at that! Building a computer... I appreciate... In fact, I put aside something special. Well, don't keep me in suspense. Ain't that just ironical? If I'd worked a little... 2 whole data pads? Sure. What's on... Couple months. This camp's my home. People you see milling about, I owe them my life. Would have died in the wilderness if they had... We all left the cannery for one reason or another. I mean, I was incompetent. I couldn't even...
You weren't incompetent. You just didn't fit the cannery. Not like...
You could stay, you know. Here. I'd be happy to...
wanted to poke around in here. Okay, keep it quiet. Don't mess with us. The control room should be off to the right. I hope we're doing the right thing. Everyone all right?
Oh. Here we go! Everyone all right? System.
No, just leave me alone. Get away! not real. You're not real. Get away! Get away!
Mind the steam. You're liable to get scalded.
Unexpected.
Eyes up! That's the last of them. Got it. Heads down.
Oh, sweet.
Incoming! Nice hit! You got him! Okay, here we go! Nice hit! Nice one!
Get away! No, 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 just leave me alone. Get away! You're not real. You're not real. Get away. Don't you talk down to me, Phantom. See, Higgins? This is why you must always... Of course. Do excuse me. Chester D. Higgins. The D stands for definitely not insane. I use it as a reminder. Oh, Higgins has been many things over the years. Sprat Wrangler, Saltuna Critic, Aetherwave Personality, Chairman of the Board, Galactic Defender, Sisty Pig Tyke. I've come a long way for some... I specialized in automechanicals, drones, sentry... Look, I don't want to fall into any trouble with them. You know, you remind me of myself back when I was an intergalactic. I discovered a flaw. Their hostility levels were hardwired to maximum. There's no changing that, but you could rewrite... Yes, that's exactly it. There's a behavior control terminal in the other room. It should have options to change how... Oh, that reminds me. You'll need my passcode to access... The tail. Definitely start with the tail. Jimmy'd opened the vending machines. That lasted a good couple of months. Eventually... Mechanicals lost their bolts. Oh, I was on cleaning duty at the time. My old boss had me scrubbing pipes when the killing started. So, as usual...
Help. Searching for unauthorized person.
Oh!
Catch the last of them!
Once we do this, there's no going back. Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished. That sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back, Edgewater's as good as dead. Cutting off their power might be the only way. Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow, she's talked the ground into giving life again. It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. Gave a home to those that had none. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She wants to hurt the town. Do you really want to be party to that kind of hatred? Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I just... Really? I mean, what? You did the brightest thing you could, sending the power back to Edgewater. A lot of people would have suffered otherwise. That's on account of how I don't... She was in another division of the Spacer's Choice family. Her contract said any kids she had, expected or not, belonged to her office. Well, I don't know about normal. It's sensible. Dad just fixed machines. She did some kind of crazy math. He's just interested in fixing stuff. I'm just glad he's alive. If he wants to learn about engineering, we should help him get... You mean about the mission being too... I know, but real machines have gunked up oil, scratches, and worn bits. You can tell they've seen... The machine Vickers sees is one ain't never been run. It's not for people... I think there's something higher and greater... Nice.
Process in.
Everybody keeps staring at me. It's not my fault. No kidding. The geothermal plant? Now that is just incredible. That's a complete set. All 3 parts. Aside from you.
I'm glad we could...
I've been saving something. What's on your mind?
I don't know how much longer we'll last without power.
That's the thing about growing old. Your eyes start to fail. Elsewise, I would have seen. This is all you're doing. Cutting off my power, kill. I want to ask you this in private, away from the eyes of my flock, so... You want my flock wasting their lives in that camp? Go talk to Grace and Thomas. Look them in the eye and tell them their life here is over, and the only thing left to do is go back to Edge. And you tell Reed Thompson that I will never return to Edgewater. I would rather die among my flock. My son worked in that cannery. When the plagues, we had a store of medicine locked away. But Reed refused to treat him. Said my boy didn't deserve treatment. Said the medicine would have been wasted. So I buried my boy in the cemetery. Gathered. You offering to cross Reed off, huh? This some sort of twist. Kill Reed if you must, or talk him into leaving if you can. He and I are not sharing the same. Tell Reed that I can make his people healthy again. I can end their plague. Start a new garden, right? Tell him how I've made the Vale bloom again. The soil has whispered it. The secret is human corpses. I've been grinding them up in my fertilizer for years. Marauder, work. If I were in a better mood, I might be inclined. Look at that.
Sorry. I've been thinking about... I get sick thinking... You know something? I think you're right. I could do a lot of good in Edgewater. Maybe even keep a garage of my own with a little workbench. It's just... Adelaide's never gonna... Adelaide hates Edgewater, hates everything Edgewater stands for. We're the nearest she's got to kin. You know where to find...
Marauders can't see us in the dark.
The matter's... I'm staying put until I... I'm not... I'll tell you what I... What is it?
Somebody's been running around town raving about a colony ship. Thanks. I'll see to it that this... Here. Something for your trouble. Nothing personal, but I hope... You do have some cheek on you. Lucky for you, I kept a little contingency. Somebody deserving. Silas on account of him being out in the cold. Amelia seeing how she's around people all the time. Oh, I'm an actuary. That means I keep tabs on a worker. Technically, I'm employed.
You're not a big drinker, are you?
Somebody's been running. You what? Does it feel good? Betray a man in his final... So...
Been eating nothing but salt.
I've never actually been in here. Seemed scary from the outside.
Welcome to the Spacer's Choice Constabulary. We are Halcyon's leading brand, and the office is writing a promotion. Purchase 3... As a Spacer's Choice Constable, I am authorized to grant you legal authority toward apprehension. Know how to carry yourself in a... Cross them off and bring me their fingers. Just one per marauder, please. I'll dust off the old fingerprint roller. As long as your questions fall with... His likeness decorates many... You are correct. An outstanding bounty has been posted... I am obliged to warn you against... I am also obliged to inform you of our referral program. Wells has been wanted for as long as the board decides he has been wanted. Unfortunately, the arrest of Mr. Wells falls out. Wells is wanted by the board. If you have information... Any information regarding outstanding bounties and wanted criminals? Halcyon's original colony ship, now repurposed into a space station. Mr. Udom Bedford represents the board's interest on the Groundbreaker. Something else I can do? As long as... If this is a setup to a joke, you should know I've never found anything amusing. I don't serve Edgewater. Edgewater and the entire region of Emerald Vale serve Spacer's Choice. Spacer's Choice is a wholly owned subsidiary of Universal Defense Logistics, which occupies a seat on the Halcyon Holdings Corporation, also known as the Board. Flattery won't get you anywhere with me. Something... As long...
Hey, look who it is. You found work yet?
It's a good day if you make it back to town in one piece.
Wish we had some better rations.
Oh, I almost forgot. You tried the best. Coming right up.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing with myself.
This is a fine day. I trust Adelaide's people have seen their way to... Then we are at an impasse. Stewardship over this town. I am not perfect. I have made my share. I am not without compassion for Abernathy's predicament. I am a Spacer's Choice man. My father was a Spacer's Choice man. Edgewater may not look like much to... I don't believe you. The very notion is just grotesque. A raw... We are a Spacer's Choice Saltuna. I don't understand. You say, Adelaide, the soil's gone sour. Company said as much. Our own botanists couldn't grow decent crops for us. You'll excuse me for being skeptical. How exactly is... And when you say... Adelaide has been using dead bot. What a remarkably efficient solution. Recycling Spacer's Choice property long after its date of expiration. You're right. I am being obstinate. If Adelaide's found a way to feed her people and cure the plague, my life here is ended. Give me a little time to settle my affairs. I'm sure Adelaide will be... I have always tried to do right by my town. A couple months ago, I might have put in for a transfer. It's a big colony. Spacer's Choice has other towns. No such thing as an honorable resignation. Suppose I could find a place outside the wall. I don't know. I do. Adelaide's found a cure for the plague, and she knows how to... I already told you I'm...
You're safer inside the walls.
Look at that. I never thought I'd see the day that... Suppose it's time our flock made our way back. You're vexing to me, you know? Injuring us with one hand, helping us with the other. This don't put us on even foot. I might turn that old cannery into a garden. I need some time to gather my personals. Long...
Sorry. Adelaide said that? Something must have changed in Edgewater.
Never let...